Washing all your sheets and everything once every 2 weeks? God, that just seems crazy. That seems so unnecessary. Every 2 weeks? Do you only have one set of sheets? Yes. You don't wash them after having sex? If I feel like the person is messy, I just lay out a towel. That, alright? I'm a practical ninja, alright? Nobody knows if you're joking or not. I'm not joking. I would never... once every 2 weeks. This seems like a lot of washing to me. But also, I feel like I'm a relatively non-sweaty, messy person, usually. I guess if I was, like, pissing and in my bed all the time or coming all over my blankets, like, there's not much that happens in my bed. I sleep there, and then even when I'm banging, I don't even know if I'm normally in my bed. I'm usually like in the living room or whatever. Well, I guess it could. But, yeah, that. Have you got a tumble dryer? I mean, the dryer spins, but it has heat in it. We don't know if you're joking about only having one set. No, I only have one set. But if I end my stream and I start washing them at 9, then things should be done by the time I sleep, which is 1. Because I think it's about 2 hours to do a full cycle. So usually I can fit my blanket, because the blanket is kind of big, that goes in the washer. And then the next wash will be my sheets, the thing that I don't know what you call the thing that stretches over the mattress. And then my pillowcases will go on the next load. The fitted sheet, whatever the thing is you have to stretch over the corners. Do you just let your guests sit on the cum couch? Well, my couch is covered by a big blanket too, and I wash that every couple weeks as well. Do you have super fancy bed sheets? I'm gonna be honest. I've looked for fancy towels and bed sheets where it's like, oh, I'm rich. What should I spend money on? I just can't. I don't know. I feel like I can never find anything nice. I just end up not liking everything I get. I don't know what the last shit I ordered was. I just look for like expensive shit on Amazon. I'm like, this. I don't know. It just kind of sucks. I don't know. At one point, I thought I should get like silk stuff, but then I read online that it's like hot and uncomfortable to sleep in. So why? Fuck, I don't even know if the last shit I got was expensive. Oh, it kind of is. I don't know. I just feel like these are like meh. Like this is my current. I feel like this is decently expensive. Whatever. There's like $200 for like a sheet and a fitted sheet. I think that's all that comes in it. But it's just like meh. Apparently the thread counts don't mean anything anymore either. I read that on Reddit that they lie or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. It's super meh. I'm not. I don't know if there's like a hidden OP cool thing that you're supposed to get if you're. Bamboo is best sheet, smooth, but not too smooth like silk or too sticky like cotton. I recommend these. Latex beds if you haven't looked into them. Like what they use in the BDSM shit? What? Or the Spider-Man costumes? Classic Percale hardcore sheet bundle. Does this actually feel better? Is this actually like good shit? And I have to make an account on here? There's not like an Amazon version of this, bro? Oh. Destiny, best way to support you now that my YouTube membership has been paused and it's going to be coming back. Watch from Kick or my website. I love you. Yeah, I think in exactly 1 month I can reapply for YouTube monetization. Wish me luck. These are podcaster sheets. I don't know if they're the best. They're just plugged the hardest. Oh, well then. Always just defer to Egyptian high staple cotton. It can run you like 2K. What? How much have you lost from losing YouTube money? Quite a bit. A good hearty 6-figure sum. Why did they ban you? They didn't say. It was like a general, I've never gotten it before, but it was a general demonetization. They were like, we did a look on your YouTube channel and we decided blah, blah, blah. Hold on, let me see. Was it your appearance on Piers Morgan that got you demonetized? My guess is it had to do with the big clip that blew up about the conservative stuff. On September 17th, responsibility is our number one priority at YouTube, and it's important for us to ensure that creators are empowered, blah, blah, blah. With that in mind, we recently reviewed your channel and found it in violation of our creator responsibility guidelines within our YouTube partner program policies. Therefore, we determined that your channel, Destiny, and associated channels are no longer eligible for monetization. Starting today, you will no longer have access to monetization tools and features, including online creator support. During the suspension period, creating using any other channel to get around these YPP restrictions is a violation of TOS. But it never said like what. It never like gave me a particular video or a particular thing. It was like a broad general thing like this. I've never gotten anything like this before, so who knows? Do you think it's possible that someone in the Trump admin pressured YouTube? I have no idea. I truly don't know. Why aren't you making a campaign on it on Twitter? And so on, you're so chill about it. Well, I mean, we emailed them to confirm, like, am I really demonetized? And like, it was brought to our attention you had questions about the monetization of your channel. If you'd like to reiterate the message below, you're not eligible. I don't know. I mean, it seems real. I don't know what I could do. Again, it's not like they didn't give me like a particular video, so I don't even know. Is there a link to see like what guidelines you broke? It just says I violated creator responsibility guidelines within our YouTube partner program policy. But the creator things are just the community guidelines and the terms of service. There was never anything more particular than that. So. What are all people doing at YouTube on Twitter? Well, I mean, if it was from my conservative stuff, then I don't know. Tag the YouTube support account on Twitter. I don't know. Do you think you're going to remonetize anytime soon? In 30 days. In 30 days I can apply again, so. Some kind of review panel can suspend monetization of YouTube channels based on off-platform content. That would be my guess.
Where even if a creator's videos don't explicitly violate the community guidelines, there's a whole team of experts who weigh in on whether action is taken on a channel. And the penalties can include demonetization of a channel temporarily or permanently. This means a creator can still upload but can't make any ad revenue. It can include restriction of videos in YouTube recommendations, like on the homepage, trending tab, or the watch next section, and even loss of support from that creator's partner manager. Now, again, these situations are rare and often temporary. Privileges are usually given back after a period of time and good behavior. So,
one thing I don't understand about suspensions like this, not thanking Illuminator for gifting subs. Wait, fuck. Did he? Thank you for the 5 gifted subs, Illuminator. I need like a little ding. I do need a ding or something that plays because I miss things. I shouldn't be. Fuck, I was just in the middle of talking about something and I saw that. Now I don't know what I was saying. What was I saying? What was I just saying? Oh, I don't understand for these suspensions. It feels so weird. I don't think there's a world where I understand how they're doing the suspensions. Unless I'm literally just getting suspended for... It's not even a joke because I wasn't making a joke. So when you heard me say the whole like conservatives should be scared, there's 2 things that you can take from that. You either listen to the whole thing and you're not retarded and you're like, oh, Destiny's saying that like nobody should be wanting a civil war and it seems like conservatives are acting fearlessly. In which case, I don't know why you would ever ban for that, right? Or in the other world, you're hearing like Destiny sounds like he's trying to encourage his fan base to either make threats at conservatives or go kill them in real life. In which case, why are you just suspending me for 90 days? I feel like you should just permaban me. Like I don't understand how you can temporarily suspend somebody for that. It's like when I made the threats to Mr. Mutin's family where I said I was going to kill his whole family and Twitch banned me for like 1 week. And it's like, hold on. I was either joking, in which case you guys say you don't ban for jokes like this, or I was serious, in which case, why are you banning me for 1 week? Shouldn't you like permaban me? I don't know, yeah. They know you were joking, but want you to not joke like that. But then why not just say that? They didn't point to like a particular video on this. So when was your last Twitch ban appeal? I don't know. I think it's appeals.twitch.tv. I think the guy they used to send it to, because they had like a special guy that looked over my shit to reject me, I think they fired him, so now it just sits in a black hole. Sorry. Okay, hold on. What would your perfect moderation situation be? The Supreme Court for the internet? I don't know. The reality is, and people don't like to say this, especially people in my position, the reality is that moderation works fine for like 99% of people. Chances are if you're getting caught by moderation, you're probably doing something bad, or you're not an asset to the platform, or... So like by and large, moderation probably works fine. Let's see. Does it say when I put my last appeal in? Appeal status. Oh, this says rejected. Does that mean I can appeal again? Oh no, it says request submitted. I don't know if they email you. I don't know if there's a way I can check. I mean, I put it in chat when I did it last, right? Do you think this is unfair and biased, or would you expect them to do it? Well, yeah, I don't think obviously I wasn't making any threats or anything to anybody. I thought it was ridiculous. Okay, so the last time they told me I would remain suspended was June in 2024. So I probably appealed again in January of this year. So they're like 5 months overdue for accepting or rejecting me. Or no, actually, they should accept or reject pretty quickly. But I should have been able to submit another appeal 5 months ago. But if moderation works fine, then what did you do wrong? Oh, I said moderation works fine for 99% of people. I think when you get to be large enough and people are like spam reporting and stuff that most people don't deal with, it probably gets a little bit different or weirder. Video to react to about dumb car features in modern cars. Wait, how long do they usually take to respond? I think they usually respond in like within a week.
This is the Buick Riviera, the world's first car with a touchscreen.
What?
Made back in 1986. The futuristic graphic control center replaced more than 80 physical controls. The graphics were so advanced, the fan icon spun a...
Do you have a P.O. box where we can send books and stuff too, or do you not want that shit? No, because I feel bad getting stuff from fans because I always end up... I just want to root for it, and I have no sentimentality, and then I throw stuff away, and yeah. Visual finish... No, I don't think that happened.
Different speeds, depending on the climate control setting. You could turn the sound system up or down and adjust the balance or graphic equalizer.
Damn.
Trip data had its own screen.
Damn.
There were even electronic gauges.
Damn.
A new Buick Riviera, and it touches you.
The Riviera was way ahead of its time, maybe too far ahead. The influential Car and Driver magazine gave it a brutal review. The touchscreen is meant to transform a trip to the 7-Eleven into a space odyssey, but the reality of the graphic control center is a bad joke. It was fiddly, distracting, and way slower than the physical controls it replaced. Customers, it seems, just weren't buying it. Production numbers plummeted.
Yikes.
3 years later,
Cringe.
the touchscreen was removed from the Riviera. But the idea wouldn't stay dead. Ultimately, touchscreens in cars made a return. This time, they were accompanied by lots of other features that supposedly reinvent driving. High-tech handles that are hard to find and fiddly to use, and all but useless in cold weather. gear shifters that are straight out of Star Wars, but come with a 4-minute explanation video. Many new models have been stripped of their buttons, levers, and knobs. They depend on software updates as much as they do solid engineering. There's evidence that some of these cars aren't just harder to use.
Do you notice that like every car, am I crazy? I feel like every car has like 4 different volume knobs in it. I think the last one, was I in a BMW? On your steering wheel, there will be an up and down volume knob. And then down here on like near the console control, sometimes near your gear shift or whatever, there will be like a volume knob. And then there will be an analog twister volume knob. And then on the touch screen, sometimes you can change the volume. I think I've been in a car where all 4 of these were present. Like, this is a lot of control redundancy. Do we really need all this?
They're less safe. And your car might be one of them.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, I want to return off regenerative braking because you used to be able to, well, maybe not turn it off, but you used to be able to reduce it. And that feature went away. And so I'm going down these steep mountain roads on icy conditions with the car trying to regenerative brake every time I let off the throttle. And I'm like, I turned this thing off and it wasn't there. Even in the moment, trying to find where in the menu it had gone while you're driving in the snowstorm on a road behind a transport truck. And it's a scary situation to be hunting a menu in the middle of winter.
Okay, I half mean when I say that like signs are for retards, but just as somebody that lived in the Midwest, every speed limit is about 15 miles per hour too low, okay? Number one, okay? So just start with that, okay? The speed limit on the road, ideally, should be, this is the maximum safe speed to drive in ideal conditions. That's what the white posted speed limit sign should be, okay? So if it's a 70, then probably 85 or whatever, right? Depending on the engineering of the highway, but especially for 70s, usually those are engineered for decent speed, okay? But that's what the sign is for. It's very frustrating. This would happen so much every time there was the first snow. Those posted speed limits do not necessarily apply when it's raining or when it's snowing outside. When I see people trying to like push their cars down the street at like the full speed limit when it's like raining a ton or after like a first snow, it's so fucking retarded. You should not be tailgating people, or you should not be driving faster than you think you can slam your brakes when it's snowing or raining outside. It's people that do this trying to be fucking crazy. Every single time it would snow for the first time in Omaha, it was like nobody had ever seen snow before.
Scary situation to be hunting a menu in the middle of winter.
In this video, we'll explore some of the dumbest features in modern cars, what it really means that they're packed with sensors, and why certain design elements are downright dangerous.
Okay.
Let's start with the new, the funny, and the just plain weird. The marriage of cars and cutting-edge tech is nothing new. Entertainment systems in cars have been constantly advancing since the 1930s. In every era, automakers have embraced the entertainment tech of their time. AM radio, FM radio, tape players, CD players, even record players. But sometime in the early 2000s, the insides of cars started to change in bold new ways. And in 2012, one particular car changed everything. This is the Tesla Model S. Upon release, it was considered a huge leap forward for electric cars. Car and Driver praised its range, acceleration, and top speed. Unusually, the Model S was designed almost entirely around a huge 17-inch touchscreen, about as big as 4 to 6 other touchscreens typically found in cars at the time.
Wow.
It was a sensation.
I think it did drive the revolution to electric cars. It made people think it was possible. I mean, no one ever thought it was possible, really, to have an electric car before that came onto the market.
The fact that you have to scroll through a menu is just dumb. Everything should be knobs or switches or something easy to navigate. I kind of agree with that. But maybe I just haven't had a car with a touchscreen long enough, and I've only had rentals. But the idea of fiddling with or fucking with a screen while you're driving is, even for people that I see that have owned their cars for a long time, so I'm assuming like people will pick me up from the airport and I see them like as we're driving like messing with the screen, and it's like, I think it's bad. I don't think it's good design, yeah.
Okay. Tesla jump-started a craze for minimalist, digital-oriented designs in cars. Beyond enthusiasm, touchscreens are also cheaper and more efficient to manufacture than physical controls. And as of 2018, all new cars sold in the US were required to have a rear-facing camera, enabling a driver to detect pedestrians behind their vehicle. This meant new cars had to have a screen inside them. Some experts see a direct link to the rise of touchscreens. Whatever the reasons, the Model S and Tesla's Silicon Valley software-first approach felt unique. The company unveiled new cars like Apple.
Research has shown that touchscreens are shit. While using it, you have the reaction speed of a drunk driver. That's not surprising at all to me. Yeah. I think the two biggest things that would change my mind on touchscreens, there was actually one car brand. I think it's a Swedish brand because I was driving this car when me and Melina went snowboarding. What's the name of the Swedish car brand? Volvo, yeah, that had touchscreens that were actually responsive. The two biggest things that would help with touchscreens is one, they're not responsive. They need to be like analog tier responsive. The fact that there's so much laggy shit, and maybe they've gotten better now, to be fair, and I just haven't been in newer cars that much, but when you push a button and you've got to wait, even if it's like 300 ms, it's like, bro, like push the button and make it do something. My fucking God. That would help, number one, if they need to be instantly responsive, and then two, there should probably be some kind of like tactile feedback, and the buttons need to be big. Like your touch screen, by responsive, do you mean haptic feedback? Yes. Well, that's one part, but responsive isn't also like loads instantly. Like when you push a button, a thing should happen. It should almost feel like analog response time. And the buttons on your screen, like if this is your touch screen, then the buttons should be like main menu or like previous song, next song, okay? It can't be that I need to have a 4'9" Asian cutie pie wife where it's like next, like this is to connect a new phone, and this is to like change the heating on the seats, and this is your air conditioner and heater thing, and this is to go through, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, fucking, I have to take like a magnifying glass out to interact with my screen while I'm driving. Like, it's way too much. This is fucking retarded, okay? Where there's like 70 different buttons or activatable parts of my screen. They need to be big. They need to be retard proof. Like, I'm driving a car. Don't most cars have steering wheel controls too? They do, and I might be booming. Okay, I totally admit it. Maybe I'm booming. But I don't touch those because it's too intimidating for me. Because nowadays, okay, it'll be like, here's my steering wheel, okay? And then this is like the thing on the left. There's like 7,000 different buttons, and it's like up, down must be for next song. Oh no, that's to scroll on my digital dashboard, and now I've pushed a thing and I can't see my fucking speed anymore because I don't have an analog tachometer and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now. And it's like, give me a modern car. BMW steering wheel 2025. Okay, like 2 scroll wheels? Do I need 2 scroll wheels? Do I really need all of these buttons on the steering wheel? I need the phone button. I need to be able to shortcut make a phone call. It's that important while I'm in my BMW. I have to have a hotkey to mute my microphone? What is the plus and minus if I need to do some calculations while driving? What? Like, this is retarded. Cruise control should be on an independent stick down here, but make it a totally different thing. Cruise control should be on an independent stick. Let's go ahead and look at a reasonable interior. Right side, bruh. Is it mirrored? What the fuck is this? What am I looking at? Even this has too many buttons, okay? I think I have a separate knob for cruise control. Do I even have cruise control in my car? Actually, I don't even fucking know. No, I think I do. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I long distance drove. I feel like there was... Oh, no, wait. I don't remember what any of the knobs do in my car. Wait, do I not drive anymore? Am I losing my mind? Okay, driving. Turn right. Okay, there's a cruise control. This is for my, to turn on my suspension and make it stiff on the left. I think my cruise control buttons are over here. The cruise control should be on this knob, okay? It doesn't need to be built into the steering wheel. Also, I don't need 52 different cursors. Fuck all this shit, okay? This is too much. This is too many buttons, okay? Never mind, I changed mine. Fuck this. Too many buttons. I can change my volume on my steering wheel. I can change my volume with this knob here, and I think you can change the volume on this here too. Why? Too much. Look at the Tesla steering wheel. Wait, look at the GT3 RS steering wheel. Wait, is there stuff in here or is this just empty? This looks kind of based. 2 buttons on each one. I don't know what the fuck this is. Is this for launch control? Well, that's a real thing in cars, I guess, is it? I don't know. Oh, and also, nothing is more retarded than nothing is more retarded. Listen, when you're in a car and this is your seat, if you want to move the seat back or forward, there needs to be a manual thing down here that you pull up. Nothing is more retarded. You're ever flirting with a girl and she's like, oh, I want to suck you off. I want to ride you in the seat. It's like, oh, yeah, let's do it, babe. And you look over at her and then you push the button and it's like, Wait, hold on. Oh, my God. Give me just let me move my seat. Oh my God, it's so stupid. Or at least put a turbo mode in there. And if kids die using it, then I don't give a fuck. Put a warning sign on it, okay? Holy shit.
Presented new iPhones. Even if Tesla wasn't the first company to include a touchscreen in a car, for many people, the future finally seemed to have arrived. Suddenly, the rest of the industry was playing catch-up. To avoid being left behind, companies would have to shift gears. Unfortunately, along with a lot of other things, shifting was about to get...
What dog shit cars are you driving? They all move slow. And I've rented enough cars to know all of them move slow. Only the manual levers that you pull up and you slide back and forth. Yeah.
really, really confusing. Congratulations, this is your new 2017 Range Rover Velar. You're going to love driving it. But first, you need to get inside. But how? Where are the... There have to be handles. How else? Maybe they're... No. Okay, no. Are they... No. Higher. Higher. Look, you just need a little finesse. First, press this little button, then the handle pops out. It's not that hard. But you might have to explain the procedure to your passengers.
Also, yeah, you don't have to innovate on every fucking thing. I still get annoyed when I walk up to a Tesla and I have to like push the handle in to take the thing. Like, just put a goddamn normal fucking thing on it, okay? I bet this shit costs more for maintenance anyway.
And things could get tricky in the winter. Okay, this will probably take some getting used to, but they're so sophisticated. The Velar is just the tip of the iceberg. These days, lots of cars have unusual door handles. Some, like the Ford Mustang Mach-E, got rid of handles entirely. Instead, there's a button, and they've camouflaged it. The Tesla Cybertruck's button is even better hidden. But back to your new Velar. Inside, you'll notice more oddities. Here's the shifter. As usual, the gears are labeled. But instead of the classic lever-shaped shifter, you'll use a dial to change gears. The 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLC has a monostable stock shifter. It's always returned to the center, which can make it tough to tell which gear you are currently in. The GMC Terrain moves shifting to buttons, which you pull rather than push.
Based?
In its review, the website
It's just based because it can fuck with drivers, and I like that.
Motor One called it a complicated solution to a non-existent problem.
Yes.
A description that may or may not apply to many of the innovations in this video.
Like, I feel like and listen, okay, I don't like automatics. I always drive manual, okay? But back in my day, the automatic transmissions, you just had a knob on the side here. You went up for a drive. It just goes, and then I think you can go down 1, 2, 3 if you need gears. Nobody really knows what these are for. They're for towing, but nobody fucking uses their sedan to tow anything. So these are just never used. And then I think you can push it a direction for like reverse or whatever, and that's it, okay? That's it. And then you have a parking brake if you need it, okay? But like, yeah, I get into these cars, and even on automatics, I'm like, what the fuck am I What the fuck is this? The knob? I see this. I don't know which brand does this, but the twister thing where I've got to like fucking play Xbox 360 to figure out what fucking gear I'm in, and then half the time it's shouting at me because it's like, oh, you have to push your brake down to go at it. But it's like, what? It's not even a manual car. What do you mean I have to push my brake and then figure out the Konami code to take it out of park? What the fuck is happening? I'm booming. I can't do it. The two cars are too complicated for me. I'm sorry. I'm a boomer.
From 2021 to 2023, if you were
booming.
driving a Volkswagen ID4, you shifted gears.
Driving a manual in traffic is miserable? No, it's not. That's a meme that people say. It's not miserable. You can do it. You can do anything in a manual, you can do in automatic. And you can eat and talk and be distracted the same way as well. Okay? Drive with your knee.
With this thing. See it there? Hidden behind the steering wheel? You twist it to shift gears. Whether these new designs actually improve on anything is an open question, but they certainly bring the adventure back to driving. In the past, most cars' essential controls
Look, this is fine too. Just have this thing. It works, okay?
tend to look and feel more or less the same. With new features like these, every time you drive a different car, you have to learn how to operate it almost from scratch.
Yes, true.
But it's confusing, and then there's the Genesis Crystal Sphere.
Oh, what was that?
Let's say you ease on into a Genesis EV60. You want to back out of your parking spot. Wait, there's no shifter,
Holy
just this little
shit.
crystal ball. According to Genesis, it helps create an emotional
Driving a manual when I'm at a stoplight on an incline makes me feel like I'm gonna cry. You're either at least my age or older, driving very old cars, or you're a young person and you've heard people on Reddit say this, you've never driven a manual before, because basically every manual car made after the year like 2008 has like an auto fucking brake feature. Even my car with no luxury features on it has an auto brake to help you start up hills. I don't think you ever have to worry about that shit anymore.
connection between the driver and the vehicle. So slow down. Take a minute. Can you feel it? You start the car by pressing the brake and pressing this button. Like magic, the crystal sphere
Whoa.
rotates, revealing the shift dial.
I would kill my bro if I got this. I would get out of the car and be like, sir, I need a new car. I'm not driving this. I'm not doing this. I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna know what's happening. This shit is gonna start spinning around like I'm in fucking space control, and I'm gonna crash into somebody and die. Okay.
Inside, there's a mood light. Shift into reverse by twisting the dial to the left. The dial vibrates, but nothing's wrong. No, that's the sweet vibration of safety. The mood light changes color too, putting you in a safety mood.
Am I in trouble?
You can't feel it? Okay, you know what? Let's take a step back. Try putting the car in neutral. With it still turned off, press the
My first car was a 1998 manual 4Runner. Complaints are true in that case. Hell yeah. My first was a 95 Dodge Neon. So you would be on the brake, and then you should already be like, you should rev match. If you drive a manual, you don't rev match, you should just kill yourself. I don't know why. I still, every now and then I'll hop in a car with somebody who doesn't do that. And I'm like, you really just slam it in like that? Like, are you the kind of guy that like fucks chicks without getting the wet first? Are you the kind of guy that just like eats spoonfuls of like raw cinnamon or cocoa powder? Are you the kind of guy who like just inhale, you just breathe in like dust or baby powder for fun? Like, what kind of person does this? I still find people that do this every now and then. But like, all you have to do is you just gas it up, hit that 4,000, 5,000 RPM, let go of the brake, you know, get on your clutch and fucking do your shit. You just gotta launch up, baby.
the start button twice, but don't hold down the brake pedal. No, don't hold down the brake. Okay, try again. Without holding down the brake pedal, press the start
This is, bro, every time I rent a new car, I feel like this is my struggle. Like, how do I take this shit out of park? How do I put this shit in gear? It's so fucking annoying. I think I had a BMW convertible, some kind of convertible the last time I drove, and it was doing things automatically for me, and I don't even know how it knew. Like, I think it would like go in reverse for me, and I didn't even put it in reverse. But it was nice, I guess, because it knew to do it. But it was kind of nerve wracking because I don't know how it knew to do it, and I'm like, what? I don't know what's happening. I just push the gas and go.
button twice. Good, now you're in IG on mode. Remove the cap next to the crystal sphere.
I've never met another manual driver that knows what rev matching is, Limfeo. I feel like rev matching is one of those things. It's like an IQ test. Like, if you're seriously driving your car and you have no concept of like what happens when you push the lever, what happens when you push the clutch, what do the two little tachometers mean on your dashboard? What do these mean? And you're just like, like if you're driving with somebody, oh yeah, that's true too. New manuals actually probably rev match. Actually, I think my Focus RS. What happens is when you shift gears, it'll automatically, as the revs fall, it'll hold the revs where the next rev is, I think. But if you're ever driving in a manual car with somebody, oh, so this doesn't even apply anymore. But if you would, in the past, you do it, and every time they shift gears, you get this huge fucking jerk. It's because they failed the IQ test. Every single time they switch gears, they are failing an IQ test.
Twice. Good, now you're in IG on mode. Remove the cap next to the crystal sphere. Well, there should be a cap there. Okay, skip the cap. Press that button. The one next to the crystal sphere. Good. Good. Now you're in neutral. The touchscreen tells you so. The sphere rotates. There's the shift dial so you can... Oh, but you're already in neutral. Why would... You know what? Never mind. If you don't get it, you're clearly not alone.
This guy's just an idiot. Imagine not knowing how to clear your windshield off. I don't even know what that's in reference to. However, this is probably the most irresponsible driving. The most irresponsible driving I've ever done in my life is probably driving tired, coming home from my all-nighters at the casino, and then driving to school. I'm surprised I didn't die doing that. And then driving in the winter, okay? Especially when you didn't have like remote start or any of that bullshit. How many people... Who made the drive? Who made the drive, okay? Bro, when it's less than 5 Fahrenheit outside, just fuck the world. Okay, where you go outside and you wipe this much of your windshield off, and you're driving like you're in. Oh my god! Like you're in some fucking power plant, and you're like looking through the visor, and this is the only part you have cleared off, and you're like, "Let's fucking go, let's do it." Yeah, tank vision. Oh my god! And you're like, if I can just start going, if I can drive fast enough. If I can drive fast enough on the interstate, most of the snow will blow off, and hopefully it blows off in a way, and the windshield isn't so ice that that's unseeable, and hopefully I'm not breathing too hard that it frosts my windshield. This was a, oh my god. I don't know how I didn't die doing this. Do you ever lower your window so you can see to turn? No, that's a mistake that you make once or twice. But what happens is when you lower your windows, all the snow fall, because the snow will stay there perfectly, and then it'll all fall into your car, and you're like, fuck! Basically what you do is you have to have a keen sense of hearing. What you do is you'll put your signal on, and then you'll start to turn, and you listen for any horns. As long as nobody honks, then you're probably clear to go.
Genesis created a nearly 4-minute video to explain how to use the crystal sphere. Of course, cars have had weird shifters before, but these days it seems to be the shifter Wild West. By 2017, things had gotten so crazy, Car and Driver published an article, "Why are so many new cars' gear selectors so stupid?" And naturally, it doesn't end there. According to...
I don't even know who's like making these things, or what like programmer or what like UI guy is like, oh, they're gonna love this one. Like, what is this? Like, I have a new puzzle to solve every time I hop in a new fucking car. Like, who is asking for this? Why?
And naturally, it doesn't end there. According to Wired, 97% of new cars released after 2023 have at least one screen inside them. In some, physical controls for many essential functions have disappeared entirely. In the past, you typically open a glove compartment by pulling a handle. These days, if you own a Tesla, you have to use the touchscreen.
Well, you got to go, there's a little car button, and it brings up a menu, and then I think it's usually the default, the top menu thing has these grid of various buttons and things you can do, and then you go to the glove box, and then that'll open the glove box, and then you can.
Does Nebraska have the same weather as Finland? -5F is really cold even here. The Midwest is super fucking cold. I feel like Scandinavia doesn't get as cold because you guys have all the water around you. I remember Melina wanted to kill herself when we went to Nebraska to do the canvassing thing. It was fucking cold, okay? And the nice thing about the United States, too, is we don't require anybody to put chains on their tires. We don't even require people to have winter tires to drive in the snow. So it's just a fucking free-for-all. And our driver training is non-existent. As long as you feel like you can drive, you just have to show up, you take a 10-question test. Do you know what a stop sign is? And as long as you get like 8 of them right, and as long as you can take a 20-minute driving test where you don't have to parallel park, you basically just have to drive around the block, and then you get your license. You're good to fucking go, okay? That's the United States.
Enter a security code if you want, and then you have to hit a 4-digit PIN to unlock the glove box.
But you still have to close the glove compartment manually. As modern cars become increasingly tech-based, some manufacturers have explored treating them more like software by selling upgrades or subscriptions. In 2022, BMW announced that certain features of its cars would be available only by subscription. To use their cars' heated seats, for example, British customers had to pay £15 a month.
Losers.
By late 2023, BMW had dropped the idea due to low customer interest. A much better deal is a subscription to Brilliant, the online platform for really learning about serious topics in math, science, programming, and more. Brilliant isn't just more user-friendly than your 500 browser tabs full of random tutorials, it's way more effective. Brilliant's courses are designed by teachers, researchers, and professionals from places like MIT, Stanford, and Google. So even heady courses like digital circuits, programming with Python, and abstract thinking are about more than rote memorization. Instead, Brilliant lets you get hands-on with concepts and play around with them, a method that is proven to be 6 times more effective than watching lecture videos. You can use Brilliant on your computer or your phone, so you can always get a quick hit of knowledge even when you're on the go. To learn for free on Brilliant, go to brilliant.org/Fern, scan the QR code on screen, or click the link in the description. Brilliant's also given our viewers 20% off an annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited daily access to everything on Brilliant. In many ways, modern cars have come to feel like smartphones on wheels. They're packed with infotainment options, but hidden inside them is a major downside most drivers aren't aware of.
Uh-oh. They're hackable, they're hard to use, or they're difficult to service. What do we think?
Many modern cars have advanced features that rely on huge amounts of data from the surrounding environment.
Your car is a kind of data hoover, really, hoovering up everything. And what you'd hope is that data is being used to improve things all the time.
This is Professor Dale Harrow. He's chair of the Intelligent Mobility Design Center and head of the Intelligent Mobility Design program at the Royal College of Art in London.
You know, I know Tesla do a lot of this, where they're looking at kind of how people use the car and all that data about road conditions, road surfaces. So you could have a car that's talking to another car that says, I've just gone over a terrible pothole. And the car behind says, oh no, I'm coming up to it. Now I'll avoid that, you know. So it could be very good, all this sort of stuff.
But some cars don't just collect data about driving conditions. They collect data about you. How you move, your speech, even your facial expressions.
What?
Back in 2023, the Mozilla Foundation, a pro-privacy, tech-focused nonprofit, researched 25 different car brands to examine their approach to driver data and privacy in the US. Of the 25 brands, the foundation concluded that pretty much all of them collected more data than necessary to make their products work smoothly. And in their privacy agreements, most brands reserve the right to share drivers' personal data and sell it.
That's crazy.
According to Mozilla, that data went way beyond name, address, and phone number. It could also include your age, birthday, and the location of your phone.
Holy shit.
Your credit card number and information about how you financed and bought your car.
What?
Products or services you've bought.
Why do retarded YouTubers and retarded viewers keep watching shit related to privacy? None of you guys care. Nobody gives a fuck about this. No one cares. Just make me a better product. Take my data, but make my shit better, okay?
Products or services you've considered buying. Your ID number, your social security number, your passport number, health status, signature, the shape of your face, fingerprints, your gait, genetic characteristics, race, religion, and philosophical beliefs, employment information, whether you belong to a union,
Not my
nationality,
religion.
immigration status, photos, location history, recordings of your voice, and the gestures you make. And at least 2 companies, Nissan and Kia, explicitly claim the right to collect information about customers' sex lives.
Uh-oh.
We don't know whether companies do collect all this information, but in their privacy policies, the automakers Mozilla studied reserved.
Do you not care about that info being hacked? I feel like everything has been hacked and leaked 50 billion ways to Sunday on the internet anyway at this point, no? Like, hasn't like Experian and all your major credit card people or credit score trackers gotten hacked? Didn't China literally gain access to every single SF-86 filled out in the United States? I don't know.
The right to do so. There's also no way of knowing exactly how your car might collect data about your sex life, but a look around a modern car suggests some ways that it could. First, there's your phone. If you connect it to your car, either over Bluetooth or by plugging it in, you're potentially offering up an enormous treasure trove of data. Some cars store your contact list. Some keep a log of your phone calls.
What?
Then there's the cameras and sensors that make many of the driver assist features in modern cars possible, including automatic lane centering, adaptive cruise control, and partial self-driving. Like many cars, the Tesla Model Y uses cameras and sensors to gather real-time data from in and around the car's surroundings. Here's one camera, mounted above the rear license plate. Here are 2 more, one in each door pillar. There are 3 in the windshield, right above the rearview mirror, and 1 in each front fender. Depending on your model, there's also 1 inside the car, right above the rearview mirror.
What?
Tesla says its cameras are designed from the ground up to protect your privacy. But in 2023, 9 former Tesla employees told Reuters that images and video taken from customers' cars have been repeatedly shared around the Tesla office between 2019 and 2022.
That's not good. That sounds like a bad, I don't know what you call it, permissions or whatever. Like if you have a company that's structured appropriately, then the people that have access to stuff like this shouldn't be sharing it with other people in the company, and not everybody in the company should have access to it, but access control, whatever you call it.
These reportedly included mundane images employees turned into intra-office memes, video of road rage incidents and crashes, including one of a Tesla hitting a child on a bike, and footage that was clearly private and even embarrassing, apparently including a man approaching the car totally naked.
What?
According to one ex-employee, some of these recordings seem to have been made by cars that weren't even turned on, showing off whatever weird stuff customers happen to have in their garages. According to Reuters several years ago, Tesla employees stumbled upon footage of Wet Nelly, the submersible vehicle from the James Bond movie, The Spy Who Loved Me, dry docked in a Tesla owner's garage. In this case, the owner was Elon Musk. He may or may not have been aware his collectible was being recorded. According to Reuters, Tesla collected video recordings from vehicles that were turned off only.
It's a question of culture too. Sharing users' footage taken without consent should be a huge red flag and frowned upon, not a meme. Yeah, this is some shit where HR should get involved and people should get fired. Because the problem is always like, when you think about stuff, it's kind of like when you're filling out contracts. When you're thinking about stuff, liability should always be the number one thing that comes to mind. And if you hear somebody doing some shit like this, the thing that should pop in first is, how can an employee misuse this? And how could this come back on the company to fuck us up really hard? And the idea of some employee jerking off to some chick or sending out and reaching out to somebody personally because of some shit they saw on a camera that's like a multi-billion-dollar stock plummet if a story like that goes public. Tesla employees invading young women's privacy in order to reach out and be a creeper and blah, blah, blah. Like, even if you hear about that in the office, that should be some shit where your supervisor, manager at HR is like, bro, we need to, access control it or whatever. That should never, ever, ever be happening, yeah.
With the owner's consent, but has long since stopped doing so. And Tesla does let drivers opt out of their vehicle collecting data, but there's a cost. This might lead to, quote, reduced functionality, serious damage, or inoperability. Oh, and these...
Take everything I say with a grain of salt, okay? So be careful, but like, 99% of the time, if you opt out of this shit, there's nothing bad is going to happen. When they say stuff like, this may result in your vehicle, this is just like, it's like a covering their ass thing, kind of, but it's like the chances that they're going to be pushing some emergency fast update that's like vehicle essential, that's on like a beta rollout, that's like, this is bullshit. It's not happening, right? If something like actually serious with the car is happening, then it's going to be an update or whatever that they'll push regardless. They're not going to gate this behind some fucking vehicle data collection checkbox, because it would be fucking retarded to have their cars crashing because people weren't consenting to that. This is all like, every time when they're like, oh, the performance may severely degrade, but it's like same thing with websites and programs. It's 99% of it's bullshit.
Serious damage, or inoperability. Oh, and Nissan's privacy policy makes you promise to inform any passengers about the features and limitations of your car system and services, including Nissan's data collection terms. Pinky swear you'll do it, and be sure to print out the whole policy for the next time you give a friend a lift. None of the car companies Mozilla dealt with would disclose exactly who they shared driver data with, and some policies are very broad. Your data could be used for marketing purposes, or an insurance company could raise your rates based on data about you driving.
Damn.
And without you ever knowing, your most sensitive information could be shared with the car companies Mozilla dealt with would disclose exactly who they shared driver data with. And some policies are very broad. Your data could be used for marketing purposes, or an insurance company could raise your rates based on data about you driving.
That would be crazy.
And without you ever knowing, your most sensitive information could be shared with the government or law enforcement. Hyundai's policy
That would also be kind of crazy.
Specifies that it will comply with lawful requests, whether formal or informal.
That's true, though.
These practices vary according to region. In the United States, for example, they seem to essentially be legal. In Europe, the law requires that companies offer specific justifications for processing consumers' data, but the effectiveness of those laws relies on compliance. Evidence suggests that companies still collect huge amounts of driver data, and that data may not always be securely stored. In the end, Mozilla came to the conclusion that of all the tech they ever reviewed, cars were the worst data collectors.
We never had a category where we couldn't find something good that we could recommend to somebody to choose over something bad.
And since the study was published, it's not clear much has changed. But it isn't just about your car, and who knows who else, knowing your sexual preferences.
What?
Some modern features are just plain dangerous. This is Kwakyalam Mountain Pass, near Vancouver, Canada. And this is Quinn Duffy. He owns a 2022 Tesla Model Y, which he drives over the pass on trips to the interior of British Columbia. He told us about his experiences.
It's a high mountain pass.
What do you think about lawful access to encryption? I'm actually totally okay with it. I think that it makes a ton of sense to build in a single point of failure to every single encrypted system that anybody across the planet could use. It just seems to be like the most logical, reasonable thing ever, you know? Kind of like how I think every single locking system that's ever made should always have like a master key that's available to people, or every single safe should have a master password. Like, I think that totally makes sense, yeah.
Frequently has terrible weather, fog, heavy snow.
These situations need your full attention, but in snowy conditions, the Model Y's automatic high beams can blind the driver, and turning them off while driving can be a nightmare.
And the automatic headlights keep coming on. They'll disable when they sense a car in front. So on occasion they would shut off if we were coming up behind a big truck or something. But you have to go into, this big screen, you have to go into car functions, you have to go into headlights.
Is this real? Is this really
Lights or lighting. You have to
accurate
try
to
and
what it looks
find
like?
the high beams or the automatic headlights to try and disable these things. And I'm trying to get my wife beside me to, I'm trying to talk her through the screens to find these options, because I'm trying to concentrate on driving while being blinded by these high beams in heavy snow and fog. If I'm trying to do that,
Where I feel like it's literally like driving your car in the middle of the night, it starts to snow and your windows are fogging up. And it's like, figure it out or die. Figure it out or die.
myself to screen. There's no physical button, there's no muscle memory, there's no haptic feedback. So you're trying to watch the options on a low contrast screen that you can't touch because the car's bumpy and your fingers bouncing around. These buttons are small. Like, there's a lot of
True, small buttons too, yeah. What is this? What is this?
of really frustrating design features when they're trying to pack so much software and so much control into a screen, into multiple menus. You know, I think it's potentially dangerous, right?
Duffy is a game designer, and he's no stranger to technology, and even automotive professionals have struggled with the innovations in new cars. In 2024, Kelly Funkhauser took the Rivian S1, an electric SUV, out for a test drive. When traffic started to slow, she checked that adaptive cruise control, which automatically keeps the car a certain distance from any vehicles in front of it, was turned off. That required quickly flicking the shifter next to the steering wheel upward. But Funkhauser held that gesture slightly too long, a couple of seconds. Suddenly, the
Idiot.
SUV shifted into reverse and began backing up towards the vehicles behind her.
Not the hidden reverse function.
Kelly Funkhauser is the Associate Director of Vehicle Technology at Consumer Reports, and she test drives cars for a living. Yet even she couldn't avoid the usability hiccups that come with rapidly changing car design. Luckily, Funkhauser's experience was just a near miss. In June 2016, the actor Anton Yelchin, who played Mr. Chekhov in the 2009 film reboot of Star Trek, parked his Jeep Grand Cherokee on a steep hill outside his home in Studio City, California.
Uh-oh.
The Jeep was one of 1.1 million vehicles that Fiat Chrysler had recalled months before. This was due to the monostable shifter, which always returned to the center position. That could make it difficult to tell what gear was selected. As Yelchin walked towards his home, the Jeep rolled backwards and hit him, crushing him against a brick pillar and security fence.
Jesus.
There's no proof that the Jeep's monostable shifter was responsible for Yelchin's death. While his parents filed a wrongful death case against Fiat Chrysler, it was later settled.
Wait. Really? He died? Wait. Why did I never hear about this? Oh, shit. 27 years old? How long ago did this happen? In 2016. Oh. Maybe I didn't hear about it. God damn. That's actually crazy. 27 years old and in like AAA. No, I don't think you call them AAA. What do you like? Mainstream movies, A-list movies. Jesus.
Out of court. But a week later, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration concluded its investigation into the shifters, and it seemed to reveal a worrying pattern. 686 complaints, 266 crashes or fires, and 68 associated injuries. Since the early 70s, the general trend in the US has been a decline in motor vehicle deaths. But around 2011, they began climbing again. In 2023 alone, there were 45,000 motor vehicle deaths. That's roughly the population of an entire town. Professor David Strayer of the University of Utah, who has studied infotainment systems and driver distraction, said this.
Something's going on that's actually making our roads less safe. And it corresponds with increased prevalence of cell phones and touch screens and all the electronics in the vehicle.
In 2020, the British road safety charity I Am Road Smart commissioned a study on the impact of Apple CarPlay on driver reaction times. On a closed course, 2 groups of 20 drivers were asked to perform touchscreen tasks while driving. One group used Apple CarPlay, the other one Android Auto. It found that while using either voice or touch controls, drivers had a much harder time staying in their lane and maintaining a consistent distance from vehicles in front of them. When something appeared on the road ahead, they reacted over 50% more slowly than usual. When drivers selected music on Spotify using touch controls, their reaction times were even worse than in previous studies of texting while driving. Ultimately, compared to previous studies conducted by TLR, using either system slowed drivers' reaction times more than being at the legal limit for alcohol or cannabis. In 2022, a Swedish car
Okay, but this is bullshit because... Wait, fuck. What's the thing that Mr. Wynn has? Like speculation of progress? Okay, listen. Sometimes in the modern world, I don't recommend this ever. Don't do this, and I don't recommend this. But in the modern world, okay, in a very unintuitive way, sometimes drunk driving, slight drunk driving, or slight high driving is actually the safest form of driving. Because now, I'm not talking like you're wasted, okay? But sometimes, okay, if you're buzzed, you're locked the fuck in, okay? Don't talk to me. Don't show me my phone, okay? I can't kill anybody. I can't get a deal. You're locked the fuck in. And that driver who would blow past the intox limit on a thing might be paying more attention and might have a better reaction than somebody who's like, you know, fucking driving or whatever on his fucking phone, chat with his friend, not paying attention. So, now, so I'm just saying, because they put this here, what about a drunk driver trying to mess with the screen? Those would be 2 light categories. You can't compare a drunk driver who's locked in to a guy who's not paying attention on his fucking Apple CarPlay. I want to see a drunk driver who's also using Apple CarPlay, okay?
More than being at the legal limit for alcohol or cannabis. In 2022, a Swedish car magazine compared 11 new touchscreen-equipped cars to a 17-year-old Volvo with old-school physical controls. While driving 110 kilometers per hour, drivers performed simple tasks, like adjusting climate control or changing the radio station. The outcome was unambiguous. Drivers performed the task far faster using physical controls. It took them just...
Yes, that car you had in Vegas was a BMW, and you had like 4 fucking volume buttons. Oh yeah, you were riding with me, right? What's up, Andrew? I got a new ATEM for you to fuck with on our next event, okay? You gotta learn more buttons.
Just 10 seconds, and during that time, the car traveled 306 meters. At the other end of the spectrum, using the touchscreen controls took 44.6 seconds in the worst performing car. During that time, it traveled 1,372 meters. In other words, the driver was distracted by the touchscreen for almost a mile.
Based.
The weird door handles in modern cars may also be a safety concern.
And you have an accident, for example, and the firemen or the policemen come by and they have to get you out of the car. There's nothing to grab. You know, how are you going to open the car? You have to...
Yeah, also, how do these cars work when like the batteries are dead or the car is crashed? How the fuck do you open like a Tesla? Because I don't think the handles are real, right? Like I think it's all digital. I don't know what you would call it. Not drive-by-wire, whatever the fuck you would say. But like, I don't think the handle actually opens a mechanical device. I think it's like connected to some digital shit, isn't it?
Bust the glass and all that.
This is Frank Stephenson, Chief Creative Officer at Frank Stephenson Design and one of the most influential living car designers.
Typically, door handles were also used to, you know, they'd put their foot up against the car, stick their hand on the door handle and just pull it. That's the first reaction to do with the door handle. When we went away with that and we're starting to go now with normal flush door handles, you have to start more drastic measures to open the door.
But there are signs that some of these trends are finally reversing. In March 2024, the
car fires and Tesla are also giggle fucked. I will say it's kind of ironic and kind of funny, and if I didn't hate Elon, it'd maybe be a funny advertisement for that Cybertruck. But wasn't there a guy who tried to blow himself up inside of a Cybertruck? But the truck is like pretty sturdy inside, and it just blew up inside the truck and nothing happened. Does anybody remember this?
The New Car Assessment Program, or NCAP, announced big changes to its safety ratings. Beginning in 2026, cars won't be able to earn a 5-star rating unless they contain physical switches for specific functions. That includes the horn, turn signals, hazard lights, and windshield wipers. NCAP isn't a governmental body, but it's an influential nonprofit backed by several EU...
Yes, New Year's, Elon Musk, that was this year? Was that this year? This has been a long year. Oh yeah, was this really this year? This has been a long fucking year. Holy shit.
governments. Big car companies like Volvo, BMW, and Tesla all advertise their NCAP safety ratings. Many cars have essentially become phones on wheels, and this appealed to some drivers, at least in the showroom, but then the rubber hit the road. In March 2024, What Car magazine published a survey of 1,428 drivers. It found that almost 9 out of 10 preferred physical controls to touchscreens. 60% even said they'd be deterred from buying a new car built around a touchscreen. This survey is not a representative large-scale study, but it still raises a question. If the newfangled features in so many cars
Raises the question, he says, instead of begs the question. Good job.
have potentially made roads less safe and many drivers don't seem to like them, are they truly innovations?
You know, it's just like, oh, come on. So that kind of is what I'm thinking. Is this just a gimmick? Because gimmick design is, do you need it? Does it help you? That's the first basic, and does it improve, everything?
In other words, is a magic orb of emotional connection really worth it? There's a cost to these dubious innovations. Literally, the affordable mid-price car seems to be going extinct, at least in the US. In February 2025, the share of new cars purchased costing less than $25,000 was less than 5%,
Damn.
down more than 18% from just 6 years before. That's the price range favored by many middle-class and first-time buyers, but there are fewer of those on the market these days, giving car companies an excuse to raise prices on those that remain. And profit margins are higher on tricked-out, high-priced vehicles anyway, so many dealers prioritize keeping those in stock, not budget vehicles. If this higher price point is more attractive for sellers, could all these innovative bells and whistles be another way of nudging consumers in that direction? In markets where large numbers of people need to take out a loan to buy a car, like the US, that's a serious issue. But amid all the gloom and doom, there is some good news. When Honda released its 2017 CR-V, it made a change to the infotainment system. The physical volume knob was back, replacing what at least one reviewer called an infuriating touch slider. BMW ditched gesture control, whereby drivers could make flicking or spinning gestures to control.
No, I will never do this shit. I'm not gonna be casting fucking Naruto spells at my fucking car to make it do shit. Ever.
Touchscreen functions, but not many apparently wanted to. And a year after NCAP rolled out its new safety standards, Volkswagen's head of design announced that VW would be bringing back buttons in all future models. Mint's comments even seem to indicate a change in mindset. We will never ever make this mistake anymore. On the steering wheel...
Oh, because at one point for the Golf cars, Volkswagen was putting the buttons, instead they were like screens on the fucking steering wheel.
We'll have physical buttons. No guessing anymore. There's feedback, it's real, and people love this. Honestly, it's a car. It's not a phone, it's a car.
Wow, buttons. Good job, guys.
So maybe automakers have learned their lesson this time, or maybe we'll be asking the same questions in another 40 years.
But the questions...
When you check my dono chat, why don't you have the urge to buy luxury cars? Probably with your money, it would be getting the most luxurious car. I just like driving stuff that's fun. And I like driving, and I being a unique snowflake. Having stuff that is like luxurious is not like as much fun to me as driving something that feels fun.
arise. Is the CRT really necessary? And is there a built-in danger of looking away from the road while you're trying to use it?
Wow. Red Bull time. 1 second. Have some Kino.
That Lord Third is why I call this pack the Hidden Leaf. Give me some dance, my friend.
That's tough.
Yo, guy, pass that sh**.
No, Kakashi. I made it clear that the leftovers are for the Jonin.
Man, you know I'm good for it.
You still owe me for the last 3 ounces I fronted you.
So you seriously about to show me no love?
If you go call up the rest of the Jonin, I'll front you some of mine.
Alright, say less, I got you.
Using a shadow clone to get geeked is insane.
Damn it, Sarutobi. If you can't handle it past that...
Oh, wait. Careful, old man. There's no one here to reanimate you again.
Coming from someone that went out in the worst way.
What are you talking about? I'm literally the best Hokage.
That's his point. Word on the street is you got slimed by an Akatsuki member.
Are you trying to rattle me with some bullshit?
Aye, someone play him the clip.
So we heard from our sources
that you slimed the first Hokage. What's your take on that?
I genuinely put belt to ass on that nigga.
Ha! Would style my ass.
He didn't have enough heart for the fade. That's why I stole his.
Oh, no, I'm about to go deal with this motherfucker.
I'm coming too, to record this online.
We'll take my car. With them gone, that means there's more pot for us.
Hey there, fellow Jonan. Heard this was where the geek rotation was at.
Ah, yes, you're just in time for some of my...
Damn it, hide the Glocks.
It's too late to throw them out the window.
Give them to me. Substitution jutsu.
Tell me why you stopping me?
Yeah, I'm about to.
Huh?
I'm about to.
What?
I'm about to tell you.
Stop, Chad.
No, I said I'm.
Well, stop, Chad.
I said I'm about to tell you.
Huh? You say stop, Chad.
We're gonna do this outside. Step out of the vehicle.
Great job, boy. Now go ahead and turn off that body.
I need to call my lawyer.
Y'all chill out. I have a plan. Pocket fent. That Lord Third is why I call this pack the Hidden Leaf. Give me some daps, my friend.
That's tough.
Yo, guy, pass that
No, Kakashi. I made it clear that the leftovers are for the Jonin.
Man, you know I'm good for it.
You still owe me for the last 3 ounces I fronted you.
So you seriously about to show me no love?
If you go call up the rest of the Jonin, I'll front you some of mine.
Alright, say less, I got you.
Using a shadow clone to get geeked is insane.
Damn it, Sarutobi. If you can't handle it past that...
Careful, old man. There's no one here to reanimate you again.
Coming from someone that went out in the worst way.
What are you talking about? I'm literally the best Hokage.
That's his point. Word on the street is you got slimed by an Akatsuki member.
Are you trying to rattle me with some bullshit?
Aye, someone play him the clip.
So we heard from our sources.
That you slime the first Hokage. What's your take on that?
I genuinely put belt to ass on that nigga. Ha! Would style my ass. He didn't have enough heart for the fate.
Wait, is this looping? Did you already run through it all? Okay. Can you explain the meme? No, you either get it or you don't get it.
It's the political breakup heard round the world. President Trump severing ties with at least one of his closest allies, declaring, I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, even calling for primary challenges against his one-time loyalist and attacking her as, quote, wacky, a ranting lunatic, a rhino, and a traitor. This is days before the House of Representatives is set to vote on releasing the Epstein files. It's a stunning breach between two MAGA leaders, one of whom is here with me now exclusively for her first interview since the president cut ties. Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, thank you so much for being here. As you just heard, and I know you saw, the president says he's withdrawing support for you, encouraging primary challengers. You were one of his biggest supporters. What do you think happened here?
Well, Dana, thank you for having me on, and that is true. I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected, and I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his administration, and I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country, and that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families, neighbors, and it's not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor, and that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
What do you think happened? What do you think is the reason for this?
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files, and that is shocking. And, you know, I stand with these women. I stand with rape victims. I stand with children who are in terrible sex abuse situations. And I stand with survivors of trafficking and those that are trapped in sex trafficking. And I will not apologize for that. I believe the country deserves transparency in these files. And I don't believe that rich, powerful people should be protected if they have done anything wrong. And so I'm standing with the women, and I will continue to do my small part to get the files released.
You said on X yesterday, quote, it's astonishing really how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out, and that it really makes you wonder what is in those files. Are you suggesting there's something in the Epstein files that President Trump does not want Americans to see?
Uh-oh.
Well, I think that's the part that has so many people confused, is that the women themselves that I have talked to have over and over again said that Donald Trump did nothing wrong. Quite a few of them even told me they voted for him. And those are the women I would like to see in the Oval Office with support. I would like to see all of the women there with support. I have no idea what's in the files. I can't even guess, but that is the questions everyone is asking, is why fight this so hard?
Well, before this blow up, you sort of alluded to this just now. You said you were confident the president wouldn't be implicated. Are you still confident of that?
I'm listening to the women. Those are the ones that are saying that he did nothing wrong. Virginia Giuffre even said under oath that Donald Trump did nothing wrong, and she wrote it in her book. So I'm continuing to listen to the women, and I think their voices should be the loudest.
The president said the reason that
She's always got like a bridge back for Trump to like change his mind. She's very strategic. Her messaging on this has been very good in terms of just like playing the game of politics. Trump is just so fucking retarded. Oh my God.
you have been critical of him is not necessarily Epstein, but because he pushed you not to run for the Senate or for governor in Georgia. How and when did he do that?
Well, that is absolutely not true. Actually, I never had a conversation at all with the president about running for Senate or running for Georgia. And those were decisions I came to on my own that I don't want to have anything to do with the Senate. I think the past 2 months of the government shutdown should have shown America exactly why I would never want to be there. I think it's a very broken institution that serves the uniparty and doesn't serve the American people and how they vote. And I decided that I didn't want to run for governor this cycle either. I very much want to do the job that I'm in. Everyone else says I'm running for something, but all I want to do is serve Georgia's 14th district. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
So he said it pretty explicitly. Are you saying he's lying? Or did he at least get that message to somebody on your political team instead?
Do you think she'll just fall back in line in the next month or so? I mean, if Trump takes her back, then yeah, of course she would. It's politically beneficial for her too. You know? Why is she pressuring Trump here? Did she take a hard stance on the Epstein files? Just the Trump coalition is like failing, and there's a lot of people who are looking to jump ship. And MTG is like signaling, and there might be some personal beef because Trump told her not to run for senator or governor for Georgia. Yeah, but as people look to jump ship from the MAGA stuff once Trump is gone, I don't know. Maybe she's investing early.
I'm not.
I might be retarded, but this MTG we're talking about here, she's insane and fucking loony. Surely anything that looks calculated is probably just coincidence. No, she likely doesn't think about that this deeply. No. This is everything she's tweeted and said has been incredibly strategic. She could be a lunatic when it comes to like the QAnon and all the conspiracy shit. That's true, but her politicking is good. She's a smart politician, at least from everything I've seen recently.
Get that message to somebody on your political team instead?
I'm not sure. But I don't. That is untrue. What he said. I don't know if he's being fed wrong information. I honestly have no idea in that area, but it is absolutely factually not true, nor have I called him, and White House logs would prove that. His own cell phone records would prove it. I have not been calling the president, but I did post messages that I had sent to him, and that was to, like, protect, get involved. This is important. The American people want the Epstein files released, and, I've stood with the president. I have disagreed with him at times, Dana, and I'm allowed to do that. I think that's the most important thing we can do as Americans, and I'm urging my party. I've been putting massive pressure on my party and our speaker to pass the agenda that the American people vote for. That's the agenda that I fought for. Those are the campaign promises I made, and I can disagree with the president at times, particularly this past Monday on the Marines' 250th anniversary, when he honored the new Syrian president, who is an al-Qaeda terrorist and was wanted by our government for years with a $10 million bounty up until March of this year. I very much am against that. I think that was very hurtful to the great men and women who served over in the Middle East and were sent there, and many of them that were killed and injured and live with PTSD to this day from fighting al-Qaeda. So there's things I disagree with, and I'm allowed to do so.
Well, you mentioned the Syrian leader at the White House. You've also been critical of President Trump over foreign entanglements, H-1B visas. Now he's moving military assets towards Venezuela. I do want to play something that he said this week.
Don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else, and MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
Do you agree? Do you think he represents the MAGA movement as he once did?
Well, what the American people voted for with MAGA was to put the American people first and stop sending foreign aid and stop being involved in foreign wars. They very much deserve to be put first. Cost of living is far too high. Health insurance is completely out of control. And those are two issues I've been very vocal on for months and months now, long before Republicans were shocked when those big losses came on this past Tuesday's election. So I think that the American people deserve to be put first. That's what Make America Great Again meant to me. And I think that President Trump can do that if he refocuses his effort. And I think that's what I want to see. I think that's what the country wants to see.
It is pretty crazy that like CNN is giving Marjorie Taylor Greene like this huge rehabilitation thing in terms of her. I wouldn't say she's necessarily moderating, but in terms of breaking off of the Trump thing here, because like she's at like there are a lot of ways that you could push MTG on this, because like this is all bullshit, right? Everybody knew what they were getting with Trump. Everybody should have known what they were getting with Trump. You hitched your wagon to him in order to gain a lot of political popularity. Now you see it falling apart. Like it's very obvious what's going on. But like there's a softball question from her. She's allowed to bob and weave however she wants to work in all the talking about. It's kind of crazy that she's allowed to do this on CNN, but whatever, I guess.
Even if he's attacking me, I do want him to be successful for the American people.
So sounds like you're saying that he is not representing the MAGA movement that he started right now.
Wow.
I can say that promoting H-1B visas to replace American jobs, bringing in 600,000 Chinese students to replace American students' opportunities in American colleges and universities, those are not America First positions. And continuing to really travel all over the world doesn't help Americans back at home. I really, and I said this to him, and I will say it out loud, I would love to see Air Force One be parked and stay home, and there be nothing but a constant focus in the White House on a domestic agenda that helps the American people once and for all.
Congresswoman, you posted on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed. And I've been working on this a lot lately to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another. And we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences. Yeah. And
like, I can't tell, I'm sorry. I just realized how a question was asked like 3 questions ago. I just realized I can't ever do this, even with you guys. I can't expect more from you guys. I'm analyzing her from like an effective politicking perspective. Like, is she good at building her political, is she good at building towards her political future? That's all I'm analyzing. Not like, is she a good or bad person? This person is fucking disgusting. For people that are spamming angel thumbs in chat about her apologizing, saying based, it's not based. She doesn't give a fuck about anything she's saying. It's just politically expedient for her to sit on this side of the aisle. I'm sorry, let me switch gears from politicking mode to like morality or like what's actually happening mode. She thinks that all of the attacks on political enemies are based. She's always supported all of that. She's been one of the most vicious cunts in Congress, who's at the head of all this. The only reason she's changing her opinion on this now is because 1, it's directed at her, and 2, the political winds are slightly changing. You don't get credit for this. This is the same complaint I had about I remember this would happen with Vosh a long time ago, where Vosh would do like a breaking news take. He would be very wrong on a thing, but he would get all the social credit from giving the fun position initially. And then in 4 or 5 days, when the real news would roll out, and then he'd be like, oh, I was wrong on that, he would collect all the credit for something like, wow, he's got so much so much integrity to correct himself after the fact and admit he was wrong. No. What? The integrity comes from calling it ahead of time or being moral ahead of time, especially when you're making the same mistake over and over and over and over and over again. Okay.
we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
So just to put a button on this, you regret the things that you have said and posted in the past, the Facebook post that was taken down of you in 2020 holding a gun alongside the squad, encouraging people to go on the offense against the socialists, liking a tweet of somebody calling for the execution of Nancy Pelosi and former President Obama. Just examples.
Well, Dana, as you know, and many people know, I addressed that back in 2021. And of course, I never want to cause any harm or anything bad for anyone. So that was addressed back then. And I very much stand by my words I said then. And I stand by my words today. I think America needs to come together and end all the toxic, dangerous rhetoric and divide. And I'm leading the way with my own example. And I hope that President Trump can do the same.
Okay, so on that, I do want to ask you about something you posted just yesterday.
To be clear, we feel good because it's a conservative that actually seems to care about turning down the rhetoric on their side. Only because it's attacking them and because it's politically expedient for them now.
On X, you questioned who and what country is putting so much pressure on Trump to keep the Epstein files hidden. And you included a picture about donations from pro-Israel lobbying group AIPAC. What are you trying to say there?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's a question that many Americans are asking, especially when we saw information recently come out in these emails.
Isn't this what we wanted, though? I mean, like, it's good that it's breaking them up, but no. This is one of the few things where people shouldn't be playing politics. They should take a principled stance immediately. You shouldn't be calling for no political violence once it's politically expedient to do so. That should be a moral position that even if it's unpopular, which why the fuck would that ever be an unpopular position, you hold consistently and firmly throughout the entirety of your political career. Not a thing that you change your mind on once. I mean, I guess it's in a very consequential way. It's better than not now, but like this should be a perspective thing that you could do in advance of political violence, not after it's politically expedient, especially because she could just get drafted by Trump again. Like maybe Trump changes his mind in a month or two and then she's back in the coalition and yeah, it's cringe.
That the Oversight Committee that I serve on has released. And we saw Jeffrey Epstein with ties to Ehud Barak. We saw him making business deals with them, also business deals that involved the Israeli government and seems to have led into their intel agencies. And I think the right question is to ask is, was Jeffrey Epstein working for Israel? And I'm proud to say I don't take money from AIPAC. I don't take money from any special group of people. I'm just representing my district and the American people. And so that's what I was referring to.
I just want to be clear. Are you saying Israel is pushing the president of the United States States to cover up the Epstein files? And what evidence do you have that that is the case?
I simply just asked out loud, is there a foreign government? It could be any foreign government, but is a foreign government pushing to keep this covered up? Because people just don't understand the big fight against.
Well, you had AIPAC up there. It was pretty clear which government you were talking about.
That I'm questioning that government in particular and questioning.
What the fuck? You absolutely should be ready to reward good behavior. Tit for tat works because players respond to being punished. But this is not tit for tat. This isn't her responding to being punished. This is her just trying to get political points on her own side. This isn't her saying like, wow, political violence in this country is really bad. We all actually really do need to turn it down. This is on her, like, she'll immediately go back to the other side of supporting it if Trump takes her back and they go back on the attack again.
In any other foreign government.
Although, to be fair, as of recently, I don't know if I've seen her say this stuff as much, because I think she's been a little bit broken off for a bit, but...
Okay, when you're talking about lowering the rhetoric, which is important for everybody to hear from you and all of our elected officials, but there is some concern, a lot of concern among Republicans about the rise of anti-Semitic hard-right figures in your movement, especially after Tucker Carlson hosted white nationalist Nick Fuentes on his podcast, didn't question Fuentes about his vile language or views. You did speak at a conference hosted by Fuentes back in 2022. You were criticized, and you said then that you didn't know about his views. Well, Fuentes talked to Carlson about that in the interview. Listen to what he said.
Well, again, with Marjorie, I was a friend of hers, and she spoke at my conference, and then the day after, she pretended like she didn't know me. She pretended like she didn't know me and lied and said I had no idea the conference I was speaking at. She knew exactly what it was.
What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, I defend every single person's free speech rights. I think that's incredibly important. So I don't apologize for that. And I don't believe in canceling people. And I think it's important for people like Tucker Carlson and yourself to interview everyone. I don't believe in trying to cancel someone by refusing to interview them and question them. And I did speak at his conference back in 2022. However, I don't know Nick Fuentes. He's someone I've never exchanged text messages with or phone calls. But I did speak at his conference. That was the first time I had met him that day. And that was it. But I did watch the interview. I watched the full interview with Tucker, and I admire him for interviewing many people as well as exposing a lot of powerful information
I hear what
that
you're
he
saying.
does on his show.
I hear what you're saying about free speech. I mean, count me as guilty as a proponent of free speech. There's free speech, and then there is hate speech. And this is a man invited on a really prominent conservative show who said, even during that interview, he had a problem with, quote, organized Jewry, and he wasn't challenged on it. In the past, he has denied the Holocaust, called Adolf Hitler effing cool, talked about the fact that he thought Jim Crow was just fine, and on and on. So, again, there's free speech, and then there's just hateful language and sentiments.
Well, Dana, again, I told you on this interview that I'm committed to ending the toxic politics, and I think I don't want to have anything to do with it. You should have Nick Fuentes on your show, and you could ask him questions about that. I myself am not anti-Semitic. I have never criticized the Jewish people or said anything about them in particular. I am critical of the government of Israel, and I can criticize any government I want to in the entire world as well as our own. And a lot of the times I'm criticizing our own government for failing the American people. And I think that needs to be the focus, and that's the most important thing people care about, is being able to afford groceries, housing, health insurance, and having a good quality of life.
Yeah, and I hear you saying you're not anti-Semitic, and you've said it before, and you know some of the posts that you have put up, which you have apologized for, certainly have tropes in them that have been used historically against Jews. But I do want to end this conversation with a question to you, and that is, do you see a situation where you and President Trump can make up? And if not, do you think you have a future in the GOP?
Well, I certainly hope that we can make up. And there's, again, I can only speak for myself. I'm a Christian, and one of the most important parts of our faith is forgiveness. And that's something I'm committed to. That's why I can easily come on your show that is watched all over the world, and I can say things I'm sorry for, and I can try to set an example of how I think we should move forward as Americans. And so, of course, on my end, I believe in that, and I certainly hope to see that happen.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, I appreciate you coming on this morning. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you, Dana.
America's power couple. Wow. The fact that he's calling her a traitor because she was voting to release the Epstein files tells us all we need to know. Whew. Uh-oh. Who the fuck was Clea in Expedition 33? The Mael's real life version's Alicia's older sister. Idiot. I think you should watch this video. Some of these people are insufferable. Uh-oh. Wait, hold on. got memes over here. What is this? Asmongold responds to Kyle Kulinski's video about him.
There's nothing to do with it.
And we're the fucking problem?
Yes.
I can't with guys like this.
Uh-huh.
It's just
You can't because engaging with the reality of what's being said is so obviously against you that you don't want to admit it. It's very obvious that the Democrats have been the massively violent ones. And if you look at all these studies, by the way, that were conducted, these studies...
All of them were wrong, by the way.
...don't show a massive rise in violence.
Number of studies that Asmongold has read on this topic? 0, by the way. 0.
Violence that happened in 2020. They don't show the massive rises in violence that happened during the Tesla bombings, for example. And the reason why is because all these studies are biased. But any reasonable person who just looks at the news can clearly...
Oh, and any reason... It's so crazy to listen to somebody just like... I get demotivated so hardcore listening to shit like this. Like, to listen to somebody so obviously talk about the most obvious logical pitfalls, right? Like, the most... like, every single study is biased. I've read 0 of the studies. But it's very obvious if you look at my curated social media feed that shows me exactly what I want to see every day. It's very obvious what's going on. Like, the fact that that's just not a klaxon blaring, that's not the most obvious red flag. That's just such an insane statement to make.
Are biased. But any reasonable person who just looks at the news can clearly see that every single time that there is anything violent, besides maybe January 6th and maybe 1 or 2 other times, the majority of mass violence and mass hysteria is done by Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's done by leftist people. Whether it is the Tesla attacks, BLM, or these ICE protests. These are all left-wing things that are happening.
ICE protests? I'm sorry, we're not allowed to protest anymore?
Across the entire country, and they are justified, rationalized, and considered okay by so many liberals.
Have you ever thought about, just think, not actually do, ignoring Asmon's bad take and going full teamwork with his community to Uber nuke Hassan into oblivion and then deal with Asmon after? Fuck no, I'd never build a bridge with a community like that. Especially because Asmongold is the bigger threat. Hassan is just annoying. He's just an annoying attacker from the left. But Asmongold is a huge online political figure, is pretty influential in a lot of spaces, and represents a way more popular political movement.
And that's a huge problem. Antifa, yeah, it's another one. Or the assassinations, exactly.
Like, listen to him thinking Antifa. Where the fuck is Antifa? Antifa hasn't been, like, barely relevant in the U.S. in, like, 10 years. And he's been mind-fucked by conservative media. And Antifa's a real thing right now? What the fuck is Antifa doing?
You see it's not violence because it's justice? Yes. Mind you, we're talking about current events. Yes, exactly. I'm sure that you can come up with bad things that right-wing people have done in the past too. Of course you can. But I think overwhelmingly in the past 5 years, or especially since Trump became the president, really, which is the frame of reference that we're really using here, overwhelmingly, it's been Democrats. Overwhelmingly. It's not even close.
Yeah, not even close.
The college protests too? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The college protests are violent now? Are we not allowed to protest anymore? So no more protests. So every protest is just violence, is bad. That's the standard we're using?
Forgot all about that. They're also including right-wing violence in prisons? Yeah. And again, these studies are biased. They're biased, and they are conducted in ways that are misleading. And anybody who knows anything about statistics would know that. Because left-wing people don't purity test themselves. And he's so mad. Okay, all right, let's hear it. Okay, here we go.
Oh my God.
Let's go.
The extent to which this guy has no fucking idea what he's talking about, it's like...
Okay, I get it. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm an idiot. I'm a big stupid. Okay, let's hear why.
Got into politics 7 seconds ago.
Okay.
Like literally just 7 seconds ago, he was like, politics, what's that? I have opinions on it.
Great, let's hear yours.
You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. That's the thing that gets me.
Well, here's what I think is very interesting. Even using his own argumentation, doesn't that make him look kind of stupid? Is that even from somebody who's been involved in politics for 17 seconds, even they can tell that there's obviously a massive discrepancy here. There's obviously a huge double standard that's at play. And I think the whole country can see it. So maybe you're too involved. Maybe you're in too deep, and you're not able to just see the reality of it.
You need to rape him in a debate. He's such a coward. Asmongold would never debate me. He wouldn't. His whole world would fall apart.
Nothing to do with it.
Everybody figured out this, like, the key hack of, like, don't ever confront the other side if they can provide a legitimate pushback, because they know that their shit would crumble immediately. It is funny, though, that I saw Asmongold try to reach out to debate, was it DSP? Do you see that Metatron made another video about you? Yeah, but I'm not going to review any of his shit. He's too scared to talk to me too. Like, are we going to make response videos? No, go somewhere else. The fuck is this? President Trump has issued a second pardon for January 6th defendant Dan Wilson. A second pardon? Wilson claimed for months that Trump's initial Jan 6 pardon covered his firearms offenses too. The DOJ took inconsistent positions, and a judge ultimately rejected his argument. And then Trump's new pardon ends that clash and frees Wilson from a 5-year jail term. Says the president's pardoned Wilson for the gun charge because it was discovered during a Jan 6 related search that never should have happened. $5 years in prison for owning unauthorized firearms? What the fuck did he have? Or maybe it was a second offense? Thank you, POTUS. The Biden DOJ targeted Suzanne K for social media posts, and she was sentenced to 18 months in federal lockup. For what? A federal district judge in West Palm Beach has sentenced 61-year-old Suzanne Ellen K to 18 months in prison for threatening to shoot FBI agents in videos that she posted on social media. A jury found K guilty in June of 2022. Videos? Asman says he won't debate you because you're dishonest about him and lie about his views. Yeah, but like you can just tell on its face that that's bullshit, right? The people that lie about my views are the people that I'm the most excited to debate. You lie about what I say? Oh, well, let's have a conversation and I can tell you what I say, right? It's just an obvious bullshit excuse, right? Like, oh, well, I think he's lying about me. That makes it an even easier debate because then I just correct the record and he's completely destroyed, you know? Yeah. Is this guy going like full fucking retard or... Caleb Hammer. She's 25, by the way. Our culture has gotten very weird very quickly. So infantilized. I can't tell. Why is he... This woman does sound fucking retarded, though. But, like, people are so oppressed. I'm uncomfortable with a 5-year age gap just because it's legal. If that's what you're into, that's on you. It's not for me. I never said they were a predator. Never said they did anything wrong. No, I didn't give them some big... Oh, she said... Oh, never mind. I'm implying I was uncomfortable, which I'm allowed to be. I have a brother who is 6 years younger than me. They would go to school with him. Well, this person is just retarded. But there's just a retarded person.
But what's fundamentally new and refreshing about this is not just the policies themselves, but how Zoran talks about them. In doing research for this video, I came across an interview Zoran did on The Breakfast Club, where he describes his busing policy clearly and succinctly.
So as a state assembly member, I won the first of its kind fare-free bus pilot. We made one bus route free in every borough of New York City. And it showed that ridership went up by up to 38%. Assaults on bus drivers went down by 38.9%. It's not just about economic access, it's also about public safety. It's also even about environmentalism. And the cost of doing all of this is about $700 million a year. Now, that sounds significant, which it is, but just want to put it into context. We're talking about that in the context of a city budget that's about $113 billion a year. State budget about $252 billion a year. There is money. The question is what we spend it on. And we will do so in two key ways. The first is to match the state's top corporate tax rate to that of New Jersey. We are at 7.25%. They're 11.5%. Corporations can pay it over there, they can pay it over here. Wherever you are headquartered, as long as you do business in the state of New York, you are taxable for that corporate tax. And the second is taxing the top 1% of New Yorkers. We're talking about people who make $1 million a year or more, taxing them just by flat 2% tax increase. And all of these things together, they make every New Yorker's life better, including those who are actually getting taxed.
That was like 60 seconds. And in just that time, Zoran is able to explain the policy he wants, present 3 clear pros to the policy, safety, access, and environmentalism, demonstrate that the policy has already worked on a small scale, anticipate and openly acknowledge the main criticism towards the policy, funding, and deal with it by explaining his funding mechanism. And he doesn't use platitudes and vague statements to do any of this. It's all just policy specifics. That's incredible. But more importantly, we haven't seen this in a while. I wanted to make sure I wasn't just...
Most of the things I've seen Mamdani speak on it seems like, I don't want to just say well-spoken, like it does seem like pretty fleshed out too. I do appreciate this.
By Zoran's charisma. So I went back in the Breakfast Club's catalog to when they had Harris on before the election. Granted, these were 2 different campaigns. One was national, one was local. The issues at stake in the 2024 presidential election were by definition larger and more global in nature. But here she is, also speaking Charlemagne.
You know, what is at stake is truly profound and historic, many would say. And it's about, some people would say this lofty notion of supporting and preserving our democracy, but it is about real issues that affect people every day, like whether we're going to maintain a $35 cap on insulin for our seniors, whether we're going to continue to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices to bring them down, or whether we're going to admire dictators and send during the height of COVID in the pandemic, COVID tests that nobody could get to the president of Russia for his personal use when black people were dying every day.
It's not that the policies that she lists are bad. I actually support them. But that's all she does. She lists them off, and the thing she does choose to go into is the fact that Trump sent a COVID test to Vladimir Putin. Like, that is just tactically and spiritually the opposite of what Zoran is doing, of what it looks like to run on affordability. And this isn't just about the policies that Zoran has selected. It's that
he did, to be clear, he did say these are 2 very different elections, and slightly different time. Yeah, I don't know if I can compare these 1 to 1. I kind of get it though. Kamala was fighting uphill for a lot of different reasons though, and Mamdani got, to some extent, a layup as well for some, like running against Cuomo was a blessing for him. I don't know if Mamdani wins that New York City election if a center left Dem candidate comes up who's not fucking Cuomo. I don't know. I have no clue.
Talks about policy in a fundamentally different way than what we've all gotten used to. Like, look at how he talks about housing.
You have a property tax system that's broken in New York City, one that effectively penalizes rental apartments and the owners of those rental apartments. And if you had a system that incentivized the construction of rental apartments, you could have a very different landscape of housing. So to me, it's freeze the rent and take on the cost of insurance and fix a broken property tax system and streamline development and have the city produce 200,000 homes. At the same time, there's the incentive through 421A that has since been renewed to become something called 485, which is a tax incentive for the construction of new housing. Most New Yorkers don't have time to know every single set of numbers and letters, right? But that's representative of more New Yorkers than those who know.
Zoran's agenda is distinctly progressive, but not in the traditional ideological way that word is used. It's progressive in the sense that progress takes concrete, specific steps, and Zoran has identified them and can explain them clearly. Zoran gets associated with Bernie Sanders a lot, and I get why. They are both vibrant, popular left-wing leaders. This could be a dynamic where the mantle is passed to Zoran at some point. But even going into Bernie's style, his rhetorical approach is completely different from Zoran's. Again, I like Bernie's policy set, but look how he presents stuff when he's on flagrant.
How are we doing as a mission?
I was struggling financially.
That's right. Quality of life. That's exactly right. And I think that we are disillusioned with the institutions that should be supporting and protecting us. Excellent. All right, so that's right. All that's right. So let's start off with, in one sense, we are the richest country in the history of the world, right? We have enormous wealth. Is that wealth? Does that wealth apply to the vast majority of the people?
Absolutely. How does he know so much about housing and shit, but still thinks rent control is good? Well, so there's there's an interesting problem with housing that I've never really talked about in depth. And some people ask me a question. I don't really know the answer to it. There's an interesting problem with housing that when you have, let's say we have 4 buildings, and let's say these are huge buildings, and everybody in here are software developers making, we'll say like the floor is $250K a year, okay? And you have little coffee shops out here, and you've got like janitors and people that do menial labor inside these buildings. Where do the menial laborers live? I don't actually know the answer to that question. These guys are all going to live nearby. They can afford like the big primo, Kino housing units. These people seem like they're kind of fucked. I don't know. I've never really known the answer to that. Rent control on its own is it's an atrocious way to deal with housing stuff. It doesn't favor the people that you want it to favor. It just favors people who are already there. It hurts new people coming in. It hurts reinvestment into property. But one of the things Mamdani just said in that last thing was it wasn't just rent control that he wanted to do. He also wants New York City to build. He said 200,000 more housing units. He also wants to do things to whatever property taxes or whatever regulate. I don't know whatever other bullshit he was talking about. But he was talking about other things in conjunction with rent control. It might be that rent control for certain income brackets or rent control for some people is a favorable thing in conjunction with other policies because it helps to keep those people in the area because they kind of do need to live there. And it is ultimately beneficial for everybody while also like expanding construction. That might be a thing, rent control in conjunction with other things. Maybe it's not a horrible idea. That might be the case. I don't know. I've never seen rent control studied in conjunction with other things, but...
Bottom line is you got millions of people, working class people, lower income people, struggling to put food on the table.
Do you notice what that is? I've watched hundreds of hours of Bernie interviews, and Bernie's way of presenting his policies is basically like this. He asks an open-ended question that he wants a specific answer to. If you nail the question, he says, good, and goes on to the next.
Destiny, they live a 30-minute drive away. It's not a big deal. Yeah, but like, it's the way that the financial burden is shifted around in different workers can sometimes be a little bit bullshit, right? So imagine that I am wealthy enough to afford an apartment that's right next to my place of work, and I also make a fuck ton of money. Well, guess what? I don't have to waste money on a car, which is most people's second largest expense, right? Or maybe health care, depending on their situation, right? I don't have to waste money on a car, driving, gas, any of that bullshit. I save time in my day. I just walk to work. It's right there. As opposed to a poor person who might have to live far away, now also is picking up the second expense of a vehicle, right? So it's like, that's probably not like an ideal way to distribute cost to employees that are working in an area, you know?
Point. If you're off, he'll be like, you're close, and then fill in the answer. This eventually leads you down the Sanders dialogue tree, in which it's revealed that billionaires are hoarding money and poor people are suffering. The thematic thread of the whole process is that this information is supposed to blow your mind, that you were not aware of how bad the issue is. And like, yeah, Bernie's right about these problems, but his whole approach is heavily reliant on you learning facts that you don't know about the extent of the problem, and then being hit with the same solutions he's been giving for decades. And that's cool, I guess. But one thing I have noticed is that as Bernie has had more airtime in the last 10 years, people have become aware of what he's talking about. So it's not as effective at actually talking to people. And it doesn't evolve. He's not actually asking questions about the new ways these eternal inequalities manifest. One thing Zoran points out early in his flagrant interview is the classic line that Democrats have been doing too much lecturing to voters.
There's been a lot of lecturing and not much listening.
This is a pretty agreed upon concept, but Zoran's approach is the first I've actually seen that transfigures this issue into something new. Sanders and Harris have differing politics, and they're both national figures, but they do have a kind of similarity in their rhetoric. It's about raising the stakes of everything to such an epic proportion that it's almost inaccessible to touch. Whether it's Harris's fears of democracy dying in some sort of existential way,
supporting and preserving our democracy,
or Sanders' diagnosis of the billionaires having too much power and wealth and needing to pay more in taxes.
We are the richest country in the history of the world.
It's not specific. It's not accessible. It's not relatable. The other approach I've seen from guys like Buttigieg or Ossoff is to simply treat the listeners like children, to dumb down their politics to the level that Republicans can understand them. And that's just insanely insulting to me. What Zoran does is totally different. He's not an ideologue or a grand orator. He's just a politician who knows how systems of government work, which makes his solutions seem attainable. Like, you can see him actively go into how he will legislatively accomplish this stuff, not just the implementation of it.
When we talk about raising revenue, raising tax on the top 1% by 2%, the top corporate tax that maxed out in New Jersey, that's something we will do in Albany. And that's partially why the endorsements of Governor Hochul, Assembly Speaker Carl Hastreet, Majority Leader of the state, Senator Andre Stewart Cousins, these are endorsements not just of me, but of the agenda. My strategy is to build the political will such that Governor Hochul has a partner.
Zoran doesn't have slogans. There is no "I'm with her" or "Drain the swamp" or "Defund the police" or "Tax the rich" or "Make America great again." He doesn't even have go-to phrases to sum up.
That is true. I haven't heard any of that from him, and I don't hear him repeat the same talking points ad nauseum like Bernie does, or just blaming the billionaire. I don't actually even know. Maybe he has done. I don't know if I've ever heard him say like the billionaires or whatever. He usually just says, and that thing that I talked about before, where it's like you guys talk about like wealth tax, why don't you just bump the tax brackets up, right? For him to be like, we're just going to raise the top 1% tax 2%, 2 points. It's like, okay. That's simple, easy to collect, huge amounts of money, easy to calculate. Like, okay, that's easy. Got it. Understand. And real, like it's real and it's actionable,
Policies. And I think this is politically brilliant because what it does is it allows his supporters to understand his policies on their own terms. If someone asks you what Zoran's housing plan is, it's not as simple as a 3-word bumper sticker that can get stuck in a linguistic web. You have to actually talk about it, which opens a conversation, which opens people's minds. This approach is refreshing and respectful. And it's just not dogmatic. It's barely even ideological. He openly acknowledges there are drawbacks to some of his ideas, and he's willing to own that and propose solutions in real time.
How is it affecting business? Especially small businesses. The main businesses, they can go over, but you got that mom and pop store that just can't do it.
Small businesses are struggling in New York City. They employ a majority of all New Yorkers who are working in the private sector. We put forward a small business proposal where we would cut fines and fees for those businesses by 50% across the board. We're also going to make it easier to open them. You want to open a barbershop in New York City, you got to go to 7 different agencies, fill out 24 forms, and then attend 12 activities. That does not make it easy. We need to actually follow the example of Pennsylvania, where they took an 8-week permitting process and made it just a couple days, because we have to make it easier.
And there's no animus to this. Even when Zoran is talking about policing or landlords or wealthy people, the way he talks about it is complete and humanizing and full of empathy.
Did you ever look into why housing in Japan is a depreciating asset? Don't they build with the understanding that those things are going to be destroyed in like 20 or 30 years all the time in Japan? Isn't that how it works?
And there's no animus to this. Even when Zoran is talking about policing or landlords or wealthy people, the way he talks about it is complete and humanizing and full of empathy. He frames his policing reform policy not as a bludgeon against cops, but as a vehicle for them to focus more on violent and unsolved crimes, and let mental health crises be redirected to workers who want to do that, and who've actually been trained in these areas.
I want to be very clear, we are not defunding the police. What we are talking about is sustaining the number of police that we have within the police department. And when I talk to those police officers themselves, they tell me they signed up to tackle serious crimes, and yet what they're being asked to do today is serve as mental health professionals and social workers.
He makes fun of the billionaires.
This is true.
Spend money against him, but he also makes active appeals to quality of life as a reason for why they're not going to leave, even if he taxes them more. In watching this election and people's perspectives on it from social media and through public discourse, one thing I've noticed is that there is broad approval around Zoran in my generation that sort of bridges the political divide. Young conservatives give him respect, and young socialists love.
I wish I needed. I don't know if it's confronting people on podcasts or there's not enough wealthy people confronting them or whatever, but I've never talked to somebody like, you live in New York City and they're going to bump the tax rates 2%. So you make $3 or $4 million, okay? In New York City, you might pay. In New York City, assuming that's all showing up on your 1040, that's probably a lot. Probably like 1.5 million dollars in taxes, maybe. Would it be 50%? Maybe close to it. If you paid an extra $50K a year more, are you leaving the city for that? There's no way. I just don't believe that. You're leaving New York City because of an extra $50K a year in taxes? It's just, I don't believe that. I've never met anybody in real life, any person who's actually wealthy, okay? Not the trailer trash meth head conservatives that simp for billionaires for some reason. I don't know why. But like, I've never met anybody. This is what's driving out of the city. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Him. This is both because his message is universal. It's about improving quality of life by using real, intelligent ideas to tackle affordability. And it's because he doesn't want to make enemies of real people. It's not part of his mission, and it's also just not part of his strategy. He's genuinely appealing to all people. He makes concessions where he needs to, he finds fixes for his policy setbacks, and he does it all while being a normal person. He laughs at himself, he allows criticism, he's authentic. He admits his privileges and acknowledges his faults. I looked into Donald Trump's podcast circuit in the run-up to the last election, and I found this fascinating nugget in his Andrew Schultz interview, in which he lays out his border policy.
We've allowed 21 million people into our country in the last 3.5 years. I think
Have you seen this post from Noel? Wait, what? No link.
Support on this, though. I think everybody, regardless.
I think I'll let you know on November 6th if I have support.
No, I think people agree they want a strong border. I don't think that's an issue that's like tearing the country apart. The average American, I don't think is going to hate an open border.
I think only a person that hates our country, maybe it's a down deep hatred, can want open borders.
Did you see that there? He can't let Schultz get away with saying that a policy he has is universally supported. I mean, it's not. But why not just embrace that? Why do you need to highlight people who disagree with you as people who hate our country? Just 8 years after Hillary's basket of deplorables comment, her logic is now universal and cross-spectrum. Zoran is doing something else. What sets him apart is that he's not looking to paint any group as evil or wrong. He's trying to create solutions that factor in everyone's well-being. And this is exemplified in the way he talks about policies that impact different groups of people. He talks about increasing taxes, not to punish the rich, but to make life better for everyone. Increased taxes will help out the lower class, but also make city life more desirable for wealthier individuals. I've seen Vivek make this point before, that the reason Trump won is that Americans were tired of the same old scripted, cookie-cutter politicians. They viewed them as inauthentic and corrupt and full of bland platitudes. And that's a pretty common sentiment. But that's not the era I grew up in. The era that my generation knows as our political status quo is one of left and right populisms that speak in apocalyptic statements, highlight enemies among our population, and present their own rigidly ideological views as perfect solutions. We've heard of this former era of bland and boring politicians running on nothing, and we've lived through an era of populist demagogues stoking fears and presenting half-baked ideas. Zoran is neither of these things. He's what comes after. On one level, what Zoran is doing is just politics done right. It's talking to voters.
It's the most recent post is not by Noel, it's by Code Cave, so I don't know what you're talking about.
learning what people want and actively representing them. But on a deeper level, what Zohran Mamdani's win means is that this is the new era of politics. It will manifest differently in different states and parties and through different messages and mediums. But I think this is what people are hungry for. Post-populism. Not a return to the establishment, but a synthesis of the complexity of the world we live in, and a unity among all people to live in a better world. Politicians who are active in the community and talk like regular people because they are regular people, and can acknowledge that not everything is as simple as we thought, that it's not about heroes and villains, it's about us working collectively and intelligently. And that's Zohran.
Do you think taxes are generally used effectively? Like, shouldn't California be able to have incredible infrastructure and law enforcement with all their tax money? I would have to look into why some things aren't funded as well as they can be. But the problem is you hear a lot of memes online. California is an amazing state. Economically, it is a powerhouse, right? What is it, like the 5th largest GDP in the world if it was its own country? Like, there's a lot of technological innovation. There's a reason all these companies are there. Like, there are issues with the state for sure, but people over-index on those issues sometimes, and they act like the whole state is fucked. And it's like, well, not really. It's 4th now? Why, did somebody drop or did they gain? What do you have to show for that GDP? I mean, of the top 20 colleges in the United States, aren't like 10 of them UC schools? Of all of the majority of the technological innovation and startups that have to do with AI and software, aren't like the vast majority of them founded in California? In terms of like agricultural output, stuff that's actually produced in the state, I think it's one of the largest. What do you mean? What do you have to show for it? The culture, the movie industry, Hollywood in California, this is like the world's producer of culture. Do you think the affordability crisis in America is real? I think there's a quote-unquote affordability crisis in a lot of the world. I think the issue is just that I think that this is a very unpopular opinion, or like I don't think any politician can address this, but like Americans might need to revisit what does it mean, what should be affordable at what income levels. Like I think a very instructive question would be to ask like a politician or to ask somebody complaining like on a minimum wage, what should you be able to afford in America? Because it sounds like right now people think that on minimum wage, you should be able to have like an apartment on your own in like a decent sized city that's kind of close-ish to your work. And also like a car, healthcare, internet, computer, like all your bases kind of like filled out. That I feel like that's like the average person's take. Maybe I'm off on that. I'm not sure if there's like polling data on that, but like that's almost for sure that's never been the case, and almost for sure never will be the case. That idea that like 30% of your monthly income only 30% should go to rent, but like that should be like an apartment that you live on your own. I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that's possible. Or realistic. Yeah. Wait, did this guy in Justical Server post this and brag about this? Hold on. So the oh, they do post this. So the person who is the I guess I'll say the real Rose person is like an intensely, I'll say traumatized. Like this person has had just a really bad, like this person's life has just they've had a really bad run of things. one of the reasons why I think one of the reasons why the deposition was able to happen was because all these people in Gisticle's Discord server were harassing her and her family and telling her, you need to email Pixie's law firm. I can't believe your mom. I can't believe you haven't emailed Pixie's law firm. You have to email this. Apparently, they're posting their emails. I don't know why they're openly bragging about this in Gisticle's Discord server, but they were harassing her. And like if they stopped responding, then they would get a new email address and they would keep emailing her. My last email to her, she stopped responding, plus taking down her profiles before this. I've been trying to connect you. I think one guy's emails, I don't know how many are posted here, but I think one guy was talking about how I'm very disappointed that you guys haven't contacted Pixie's law firm yet. Steven is hurting more victims. It's crazy. How crazy disgusting these people are, harassing this person and this family. But more of this will come out in a bit, I think. But yeah, it's just. Juicesucker saw this on his Discord and didn't nuke this retard. No, these people, the sabosexual person is obsessed with me. This is one of the people that constantly psychoanalyzes, fantasizes about me, talks. I'm guarantee you that I don't have an account in there, but if you were in their Discord, they're probably talking about me talking about them right now, 100%. And then Zoe and Jacob and everybody. But yeah, the amount of harassment that her and her family have received because of the people in Gisticle's Discord server that spams emails about them is insane. What flavor of mental illness is it? I don't know. I bring out the obsession in people.
Mass surveillance.
I want people. I need to hear him answer this question.
Netizens and people alike in China.
Is his travel in China comped, and is anybody paying him for this trip? I'm very curious about this. But wasn't this actually good for you? So shouldn't you be thanking them? Kind of, sort of. And again, as we get through this and finish this court case out, kind of. But I think there's another person's well-being or interest that should be prioritized here. But we'll get through that. There is a person who is a super victim whose life has been destroyed now 2 or 3 times. That is, I think it's very sad. Unironically crazy sad, but we'll get into that once this court case wraps up.
All the claims of mass surveillance of netizens and people alike in China, for all the claims of no homosexuality being allowed in China, the greatest antidote to all of that stuff is just experiencing it. Okay, and if you can't experience it personally, you should still keep an open mind. If you can't experience it personally,
no, I'm talking about the actual victim, the girl.
Open mind. You should watch the stream. It's one of the things that I've observed that I find really strange.
They claim you doxed her first. They lie about everything. They'll make up everything. The reality is this community was obsessively trying to dox her, and Kiwi Farms are trying to dox her. The only thing that anybody's cared about the entire time was trying to out me as a pedophile. That's been the obsessive thing the entire time. So people posted videos of her, posted her dox information, are emailing and harassing her family. That's the only thing that people have cared about the entire time. They can try and claim that oh, you doxed her first. I don't dox anybody first. All of her pictures and everything were already posted from her Twitter on that Kiwi Farms thread. The reason why people were finally able to find her is because one of her work websites uploaded a picture of her that then a whole bunch of facial ID software found. But I mean, yeah, they've been obsessively posting, doxing, talking about. Willie put a video of her in his fucking YouTube video. It's just insane.
And really strange has basically been people going, all of the preconceptions I had about China when met with observable reality doesn't match observable reality that I'm seeing from the streams. Okay. But that doesn't actually mean that I was wrong or my preconceptions were wrong. That actually means that this person is either A, doing propaganda, or B, there's an alternative.
Wow, Skilleris, thanks for hosting. I can't tell if this person hosts me with no viewers and it just says that, or if there's a min viewer to pop up or whatever.
Reason for it. It must be because he's not going to other cities. I think more and more streamers will probably come out here in general because like there's just so much to do. I lived in China 7 years and speak it fluently. Homosexuality is banned there in the movies, etc. Of course, not illegal to be gay, but it is illegal to show it at all, and it's also illegal to marry someone of the same sex. You are spreading misinformation. No, I'm saying that like, okay, you just described it. Okay, you literally just described it. As far that's it. Like, that's what I mean.
If you ever want to know what it's like to live in another country, the best way to kind of like understand this is to watch a really wealthy person whose currency has a ton of purchasing power in that other country, go to that other country and visit the most touristy, luxurious spots, and then write vlogs and videos and post them, by the way. That'll give you the best view of the country. Dubai is also a really amazing place where everybody lives a perfect, happy life too.
I didn't say any of those things that you added on. I'm saying that there are hella gay people doing gay shit all over. But the way that Americans cover it, the way that Americans talk about it, is that it's just not like there's no homosexuality. Like it's just like they'll throw you in prison for being gay. That's not the case at all. That's the whole point. But if you ask the average American, I think they just like want to cope about the situation. I was reading something online about the complexities as far as like outward expressions and demonstrations. It's not like you can do that on social media. That's not a problem at all, right? But as far as like
well, the social media you're allowed to access,
marriage goes, I don't think it's recognized by the state. China was more progressive than
it's just not recognized by the state. That's another way of saying there's not allowed.
And the U.S. on homosexuality to like 2007, exactly. And then the United States laughed it up with the legalization of gay marriage.
And beat this geometry dash level.
Oh my fucking god, you absolute chimpanzee nigger. Why?
Whoa!
What the
Okay. Aw, Adam. Can the next, please, dear God, can the next interviewer ask MTG about, oh, I don't know, January 6th, etc., before we keep pretending she found politics Jesus? True. True.
That if DSP wants to talk on stream, I will do it. I will do it. And I usually don't do this. I actually hate talking to people.
Unless he knows he can win the
so
conversation.
Ridiculous.
What are they even
I will
fighting
make
about?
A one-time exception, okay? And yeah, I will do it if he wants to come on my stream and explain how I was wrong. And you're gonna be able to do it in front of everybody. You can do it live in front of everybody here. What if he wants it to be on his channel and not yours? Well, I mean, it could be on both of our channels. He could go live at the same time. That's fine. Yeah, I don't care. It's up to him. Yeah, I mean, if he wants to upload it himself, go ahead. Sure. Not a problem to me.
DSP donating to himself and DSP is denying it. Wait, what? Is there a video on this?
Yep, sure. Not an issue at all. He tweeted at 5 a.m. It's at 2 a.m. It says 2 a.m. And so he was sitting there up. So he was up late. Wait a minute. Was he up late watching my videos about him? He was up late watching my videos about him. And I guess that's what happens. I guess that's what it is. Yep. And because there have been a number, I accidentally ended someone's career. This one came out a day ago. It has 700,000 views.
Do you think you'll ever talk to Asmongold if your Twitch gets unbanned? No, they would still find reasons not to talk to me. My Twitch got unbanned though. Hassan would be more afraid than Asmongold, I think, because Asmongold is much larger. And as like, I feel like Hassan's IQ is higher than Asmongold's, but Hassan's like forward-facing IQ is lower than Asmongold's like public-facing IQ. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Like Hassan does so much like obviously like retarded fucking propaganda, whereas Asmongold is like trying. He's more on it. I don't know. If you're gonna ban, would you delete your Twitch? Fuck no. Fucking stream on Twitch. Fuck it.
Oh my god. Well, anyway, I guess we'll see what happens. If he responds to this, then we'll go from there.
Rich and poor, whatever.
What the fuck does that even mean? As in, Hassan is doing propaganda, and he knows he's doing propaganda. That's a lie for the state of China. He knows that. Asmongold is legitimately, like, hard on his sleeve. I think he believes in all the retarded, crazy, stupid shit he says. Is my take.
But what is your take on what you just heard? He's expecting $10 meat.
$10 meat.
Maria, the beef market is a very specialized market. It goes in long cycles, and this is the perfect storm. Again, something we inherited, and there's also
Biden,
because of the mass immigration, a disease that we've been rid of in North America made its way up through South America. As these migrants, they brought some of their cattle with them. So part of the problem is
like the Oregon Trail. Wait, Biden had the border so open, these motherfuckers were bringing their cows with them.
We've had to shut the border to Mexican beef because of this disease called the screwworm. So we're not going to let that get into our supply chain. And again, I don't want to focus on one product. It's a very important product, and we are laser focused on this issue. And
how hard was it to not say anything when Bill, you said Bessent is obviously very smart about Akon? Yeah, I don't know, man. The fuck? What is this?
iPad. Like, it's crazy because it turns into an iPad.
Yeah, these are huge.
Phone that turns into an iPad.
Oh, this is the folding iPad.
Yes, bro. That's and it turns into a laptop. Look. It has a keyboard. You can use it as a keyboard, right? Yeah, it's so sick. This is unfortunately not allowed in our country. They won't let it in America. Yeah.
You know, the iPads have touchscreen keyboards too, but...
Okay, so U.S. has banned Huawei sales. It's not like if you walk into the U.S., they're going to put you in cuffs. It's just, you can't buy one in the U.S.
Yeah, you can buy, if you have one, some subject.
By the way, that was Austin, who keeps setting off the alarm.
Yeah, this is the trifold one here.
Trifold is cool.
Trifold.
Yep. Dude, they are on a new fucking wavelength.
How does this one fold?
Yeah, they're on a different planet out here, brother.
Yo, it's got that classic.
Is there a quad fold?
Huawei Vision.
Yeah, it's got a little filter on there.
Like cavemen discovering fire for the first time.
Chinese that's what filter, it feels like to be in China after being in America for so long.
This clip was on LSF, but a certain Stale 2000 removed it. Which, that clip that we just saw? 852 comments removed by moderator. 852 comments in 3 hours. Damn. Wait, why did this get removed? clickbait, inaccurate, or opinionated. The title was bad. What was the title? What?
Up and fuck him in the neck hole.
Listen, man.
I absolutely do love Charlie Kirk. Well, dig him up and fuck him in the neck hole.
Listen, man. Listen, dog. Listen. I'm not laughing at. Listen. Listen, dog. That is some crazy shit to say.
Okay.